Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Not Just Politics podcast. We are on the roof today, and we are joined by a returning guest. Kyle Archer is here, presidential nominee
Yes.
for 2024. And this is really exciting because we've never had a presidential candidate on the show.
Yeah, make sure you vote for me in December.
But
It's
we
gonna be
wanted
good.
to bring him on. We wanted to bring him on the show.
Yeah.
So you're running for president.
I am. It all started back whenever I ran after presidents, and then I was chasing after one of the presidents in the past. I have to keep them nameless for legal purposes. And
President, you were chasing the
one
previous president?
of the previous president. This is
Okay. whenever
whenever I was running after presidents, not for presidency. And that rush that I got from the chase, I was talking with some of my friends who were kind of going through the same thing that I was during that time. And eventually they told me, you know what, if you want that same chase without getting shot at by FBI agents, run for the president instead of after presidents. And
Now I understand
that kind
what
of brought me, here today. So thank you. Go to the polls in December. We're gonna blow it up there,
Well,
metaphorically.
I don't know what any of that means. But how have you been?
Good.
Good. What have you done?
Go ahead.
Let's tell the people what you've been up to. We haven't seen you since whenever your last I forget when your last episode was exactly. I forget, but it was sometime
April
last semester.
18th, 2024. I don't know, but I feel like that's kind of close. Ish.
When you're done taking pictures, can you look that up real quick? When Kyle was on here last, this is not good for the viewing experience yet. We'll get there eventually.
No, we'll
folks.
get it.
What have you been up to? How have you been?
So much. I've been doing actually really good.
Good.
A lot of good things in my personal life. That's been fun. A lot of good things in my professional life.
Mhm.
I do a lot of game day stuff. Is that it? Is that the date?
Oh, November 11th, 2023.
You're kidding. That was then?
No, episode
November?
37. Yeah, it was November.
My
And you had a
God.
stash.
I did.
and
Yeah.
you
Whenever.
wore many layers of clothing.
So what's different? Minus the. I mean, I still have the stash. It's not just the stash, though.
Yeah.
Kyle with the mustache is a different entity, and if you want
It
to see that entity, go watch a November 11th
You go watch
episode
that
of
episode. Episode 37.
But everything's been good. I'm over at the Riverhounds now. I'm there on field MC. They're giving me a lot of creative freedom there. I get to attend weekly meetings, kind of help build production of that. I have my own little production zone out there. It's a tailgate zone where I have pretty much like an hour and a half or so to kind of create my own content. It's not the best right now, and I'm kind of mushing through the ways to make that better. I'm over at Spacebar doing content for them. We're working on some projects over there with the Thunderbirds, Pittsburgh's Ultimate Frisbee team. I'm having a meeting with them because our season just ended too, to kind of step into a bigger role and help build that up. There's a couple other things, here and there that I do. I'm everywhere, man.
You do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You're all over the place. And you've escaped Point Park. That's congratulations. There's not many people
Thank you.
on the show that have done that.
Thank you.
It is an actual achievement. So,
Yeah.
And I wish I had a trophy here. It's in the mail.
The key is whenever you see the bison with a hatchet, you gotta run. You can't hug them because that's whenever they kill you and you can't escape.
When have you seen the black diamond? The bison?
Yeah, Black Diamonds.
As a hatchet?
Well, if you see it, you gotta go. 'Cause,
Oh, if I
Ow.
see black diamond with a hatchet,
Mhm.
you have to.
yeah.
Is that like an evergreen piece of advice for any college student? If you see your school mascot,
I would
with an
say
axe?
that's an
hatchet.
ever Black Diamond piece of information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unless maybe your school's mascot is a lumberjack or a Viking, and then maybe an axe is appropriate.
Well, then all hail Mother.
Right.
Then we're all in. I wish I remembered what literally any Viking terminology was right now,
You
and I
don't.
can't.
I'm glad.
I sprechen Sie Deutsch. Is what I'll say.
I'm glad you don't. We
Yes.
just tried Smash Burger for the first time. Or Shake Shack, I mean Smash Burger.
Yeah.
We just tried Shake Shack
Yeah.
for the first time
Yeah.
in the strip.
Smashed my
district.
socks off. Not actually. It was okay.
It was fine.
It was all right.
The fries were not seasoned.
I've
with
had those
anything.
fries in big red bags from Giant Eagle before.
Yeah.
Fries were all right. The burger actually was really good. The shake itself, I've had better shakes, but from like mom and pop ice cream shops. So like obviously those ones are going to be better.
Yeah.
But I did just get a vanilla one, and it was a very, to me, kind of a mid-level tier vanilla shake. It was good. It was really good. But it didn't me, you know?
And that's an important criteria to judge a shake by.
That's what I do. I have a spectrum of and the more you get, the better it goes.
Is that like your Never mind. I'm not even gonna.
No, it goes from which is good, and then which is bad. You had other questions, or oh no, you didn't. Do
I don't
any
even
research.
remember where I was gonna go next.
You know what?
We reviewed it. We would have eaten it on the show, but then it would have turned into an ASMR type situation, which would not have been.
You like that?
Don't ever do that again. You will never be back on this show.
We're coming back, episode 3.
You will never.
Season 3.
Huh?
I don't know. Words are just falling out.
I would like to talk to you today about you are, and now we'll get serious, I guess. Now we'll finally get into it. You are. What I've always admired about you was that you have always been fearless in yourself. Like I've never met anyone at Point Park that was as themselves as you are you, if that makes sense.
Well,
like
yeah, and
you don't seem to care what people think. You don't seem to be afraid, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean literally like you don't let it affect you.
Yeah.
You don't shy away from anything because of potential embarrassment. Like you're just, and I'm just curious how that came to be.
I first off, I appreciate that. From a guy that strives to break outside of the norm, it honestly means a lot kind of hearing that, because that is something that I don't really actively strive to be, but it's something that I want to kind of instill in other people, is to be really truly authentically themselves without like who gives a shit what society says about them. As long as they are true to themselves, that's it. And that's kind of like where I'm at now and what I've come to me. But to answer your question, is really where I think that strived from. So my mom was and still is a school bus driver, and she had the school bus in her driveway. And I had the choice of either riding my route, my bus that got to go at my pickup time, or wake up like 30 minutes earlier, 45 minutes earlier, and just ride with my mom, which I feel like any kid would kind of just do that, ride with their mom, because like a comfort type of thing.
Sure.
I didn't want to wake up an extra 30 minutes early. So what that meant is my mom would get on her bus and drive her route, and I had about 30 minutes in there where I got to just dress myself as an 8-year-old to 18-year-old kid.
And do you have any photos of that?
Probably, yeah. I could pull a bunch of stuff, a bunch of outfits from high school. But I think that's honestly really where it developed. Another one too. So my mom and dad were divorced. They are. They got divorced whenever I was in kindergarten. My dad lives down in Florida. My mom lives up in Pennsylvania. And their deal was that they would kind of flip-flop me and my sister different schools every year. So really what that looked like was 1st, 3rd, and 5th grade I went to school in Pennsylvania. 2nd, 4th, and 6th grade I went to school in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a very unique and very different upbringing as any kid goes. So I think kind of continually rotating that, I think that's another thing that built it up. But on the contrary, I think that's another way that would shut down a kid. So maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Yeah. What was making friends like? What was maintaining friendships like when it's like, hey, I'll see you next year. I'll see you in 2 years.
This question comes up every time I kind of bring this up, and I don't really know. I think me being me, I always had that outgoing personality, ever since I was a toddler. And I just think that I went back and was like, hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? That was 6th grade. Cool. And then just kind of fell back into it. I always kept the same core group of friends every time I came back. But since that was happening to me in first grade, you know that you're 6 years old in first grade. You don't know anything. So that was very normal to me. So
what do you think the biggest were there any striking differences between going to school in Pennsylvania and then all of a sudden jumping down to Florida? Is there any part of that that's like a culture shock to a young kid?
kind of. It's a good question. I would say yes. Because of the fact that it's two very different locations. Like Pennsylvania goes through seasons. Sure, Florida does too, but it's not as drastic seasonal changes, you know. Another one thing with Florida too is I was able to just walk to school. Oh, so here's one thing actually. So my second grade classroom was not in the main school building. It was in a separate trailer. Like there was a trailer complex of classrooms. And that's just what it was. It was literally like a mobile home that was shaped into a classroom. So that was something that was really different. But in the PA school, it's just all centralized one building, as you know, normal schools are. I don't know if that's a Southern thing. I don't really know. I've never really looked into that. But yeah, that's that. I do want to say one thing about this water bottle. It pisses me off.
No, that's
No, we're going to do some shameless plugging from your cool branding over here, Fire.
Shout out to Fire for the water bottle in this hat.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So I think everybody can respect these here.
Yeah.
Right, because it keeps the cap on.
Yeah.
I have to hold it down every single time.
Oh.
So whenever it pops off, you know, I got to fucking set it.
That's.
Thanks for dressing up, by the way.
I wasn't gonna address it at all. I didn't want to bring it up a single time. I wanted to just go the whole. Damn it! Why'd you say something? Damn it!
We'll cut it out. Don't worry. I'm kidding. No.
We'll fix it in post.
Story of my life.
Okay, I want to jump quickly back to what do you think the trial and error process was like for you in kind of developing your personality? Because I've seen you've shown me in your office and just on YouTube, I've just seen so many different projects that you've done. You've done your own version of like late night shows, and you were running a late night show type thing at UU, which is Point Park student run TV.
That was
station.
Cool. Real quick side note on that. Sorry to cut you off mid question.
And I'm so sad that I never got to go because I worked every. And
I mean, you made it in an episode though.
I did make
so
it.
You did make it in an episode.
I did.
Which was, I guess, one of our goals on that
well,
too.
really,
so.
Trump made it into the episode.
Correct,
He
but
comes out, and I can't. And I tell people this. I can't control whenever he comes out. He just comes out when I'm
my
surrounded
gosh,
by my
there was
progressive friends. He just pops out sometimes and he talks like this.
I feel like there was some backlash. I think somebody told me. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was or who it was from, but I remember hearing something that they were just like, yeah, they didn't like how that kind of came out. And I was like, well, it was part of the bit. It's like it's.
Of course they didn't like it.
Yeah, you know.
Of course.
But
you've done so much stuff. You've worked on so many projects. What do you think? You know, what has your approach been to trial and error with kind of figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and how has that shaped your on-camera presence and your personality?
Yeah, well, my personality has always been my personality from the start till now, and that is something that I've realized about myself. That's something that family members, friends have told me about myself, and I've been hosting live events ever since I was in high school. You know, talent shows. I did the afternoon announcements, which either people loved me or hated me. But I remember in 7th grade, I heard the afternoon announcement guy kind of kick on, and I was like, man, I want to do that one day. And then, you know, 11th grade and 12th grade, I got to do it. Actually, fun story on that. One of my most iconic moments, there was a kid named Derek Bonecutter. And I had to call him to the office for some real quick reason. And I didn't know that I said it, but apparently I said, can Derek Boner Cutter please report to the office over the intercom?
Oh, no.
And everybody heard it. And I had no idea that I said it.
You didn't realize?
I didn't realize it came out. I had no clue. So I just breezed past it. And I went to football practice, and I went into the locker room of a bunch of testosterone high schoolers. And dude, that walk through the locker room.
Did they like it, or were they razzing?
No, they were razzing, but like in a funny way, you know. And Derek, he thought it was hilarious too.
Well, that's good. At least he thought it was.
Yeah, he was a good sport about it.
He took
it. Yeah, but going really back to it, I am so happy with all the projects that I am a part of. I really try not to work on a project that I don't really fully believe in. And not because I don't want to share whatever talent that I may have to that production, but I don't want to stun it because I'm not all in on it. So with that, it's all of my personality and all my time and effort goes into something that I truly believe in, which is really where I think I just shine, where anybody shines. But I lost track of the question.
Oh, to be honest, I kind of might have as well.
Nice. So let's make this work. So
the trial and error process.
the trial and error.
Figuring out
Okay,
what works
yeah,
and
okay.
what
I know where I was going with this. I got sidetracked with 100 different things, but I don't know where I heard this from. I don't know whether it was in a book, whether it was in a podcast, or whether it was just like one of the comedians that I just look up to, if they said it. But it's literally, you got to start somewhere, and first one is the worst one. Nothing is perfect. Even the most flawless things that you believe are perfect, you ask that director or that creator, they will most likely hate that project.
Yeah.
So having that knowledge, you just, like, to quote the famous Shia LaBeouf, you just gotta do it.
Jesus.
The genuine that came out, that's what fuels me, though. That right there is what fuels me in everything that I do. I love it, though. I'm all in. Yeah.
And what do you think? What kind of tips would you have? Because, like I said, you've just it seems to me that you're not particularly affected by embarrassment. You just kind of go for it.
Yeah, I don't care.
What tips do you have? Because I think in some situations, like not in all situations, obviously like this, I'm not afraid of saying something where I'm like, after an episode,
But
maybe
this
like,
is
I
your
shouldn't
like
have
safe
said that.
space, like you're comfortable here.
Yeah, but I am also willing to take a couple of risks, I think, but
Yeah.
maybe not as much as I should be.
How much
like,
anxiety do you have whenever you do things like this?
None. I mean,
None?
If it's well, and we are talking to a presidential candidate, so it's not that this isn't professional, but we are friends.
What the hell does that mean?
But for example, like if it's someone that I haven't really met before, I'm not really familiar with
Sure.
them, and this is more of
Yeah.
like a first introduction, and
Yeah.
there's someone that I look up to, and there's someone that is maybe have like a bigger platform.
Oh,
than I
yeah.
have or something like that.
Dude.
I think I do have a little bit of anxiety. I bring more of a parachute, I guess. Like
Yeah.
I bring more more notes, more whatever, but.
What?
I also kind of just embrace the flow of the conversation a little bit.
That's it. What my philosophy is overexertion of confidence. Even if you don't have it, fucking
Just
fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And that's really just what it is. Because like if you show that you're confident, even though you're not, if you show that you're confident, that's gonna make whatever you're doing or whoever is helping you out with what you're doing, they're more comfortable. Even opening up about that stuff to people you're working with, like sharing with that, because more than likely they are too. That's another thing. And like, I get anxiety from all the stuff that I do too. I have to like pep talk myself or like, shake myself up before I go do something really stupid. Like any time, like the hot dog, the Werewiener song that I did at Point Park. It's arguably iconic between a lot of my friends. I get sent hot dog stuff all the time still. And it makes me laugh so much. But before I did that song, I never performed a song live in front of a studio audience on a live-to-tape show.
Yeah.
My hands were sweaty. My heart was beating. But, like, you just got to do it. You just got to throw yourself in. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Now, what was your show at UView was called Late Night Snooze.
Late Night Snooze, baby.
It was a comedy. I guess it still is, although you're no longer involved.
Correct.
But it still is a. It was a comedy satire show that you started.
Keep going.
What was the creative process like in starting a show like that? And was there any part of you that was, how did you establish? How did you determine where the boundaries were of kind of what was acceptable and what wasn't? Not that you're like you're not a controversial guy. You're not really a super edgy guy. You're just your comedy
I'm
is
stupid comedy.
Exactly.
I'm stupid comedy.
It's dumb and I mean this in the best way possible.
No,
it's dumb and
thank
it's
you.
just
Yeah,
like
no, thank
really,
you. Yeah.
it's just you just kind of look and you're like, what
I told you
is
this before. I want to professionally waste your time comedically.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
That's what I strive for this show to be.
Yeah.
There were times whenever we started to hit some boundaries. You know, we had to cut some things here and there. We had to cut out some jokes. So like that stuff comes up. But really where that goes is you have the conversations with whoever the station manager is, whoever really is in charge of that, and you kind of figure out where that line is for them. And then you push it just a little bit.
Yeah.
And that, because where you start pushing that line, that's where I think true comedy thrives. And where I found that, I've been doing comedic stuff for years now. So to me, it's turned into a gut feeling. Like I will know something if it's a little too like, maybe not. I won't do it. If I have the slightest inclination that this joke isn't going to land in the right way, I'm not going to feel really comfortable doing it. But then again, I'm okay with testing out those boundaries in an acceptable way. But like the stuff that I do, it's so dumb. So like then you can just go wherever.
So my question is like for a guy that's not controversial or really edgy, and for a guy that's also not political.
Yeah, I'm straight edge.
What?
Sorry.
What kind of jokes are you talking about that need to get cut? Like, what are we like? If you have any specifics,
I have an example.
Okay, sure. I'd love to hear it.
I won't name any names whatsoever because it's just but whatever.
Sure.
It was for our St. Patty's Day episode, I think, and see this example right here is where we pushed the boundary. We had two hosts. One of them was a drunk.
Yep.
That went out for like a Southside St. Patty's bar run, just belligerently drunk in a plastic or a brown paper bag.
The South Side is this way.
That way.
That's the South Side. That's the North Shore over there for reference.
Yeah, which is actually pretty good because we got West over there, so it makes sense.
Yep.
Directions, and So we had a St. Patty's Day episode. There was a drunk who just acted and pretended to be drunk. He did a great job. And he thought that he caught a leprechaun, and I was the leprechaun. But I was just a dude in a leprechaun suit, and that was kind of like, it was for the bit. And that's kind of what it was. And like he abused me throughout the entire episode, and it was hilarious, honestly. That's not the part that got cut out, though. The part that got cut out is we decided to bring potatoes on as a side segment, right? And we did a bit where we talked to the potatoes about how the recovery was for the potato famine. And we gave them an Irish accent, and this got out, and somebody didn't like it because of their Irish descent or something like that. And it just turned into a bigger problem, and we were like, let's just cut it out. I have it saved, and it's probably one of the funniest bits that we did. And I wish we would have just put it in there.
Can you offend the Irish right now? I will offend the Irish right now on this show. I don't. So someone was insulted because their Irish descent was being insulted. Is that?
Oh yes, there, laddie.
Huh? Oh shit, my mic was muted. I'm sorry, people. I took a drink and I never unmuted myself. I'm so.
What
sorry.
a silly goose over there. Oh, I can't even imagine what that sounds like with like no context to you.
I said
it's just me having a conversation.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, it's just me.
I'm sorry about the folks. I won't do that again. I just didn't want people to like have to hear me drinking my water. So somebody was insulted. Someone thought that their Irish descent was being insulted, and they didn't like that.
Yeah. It was a really weird situation.
That is quite
like
strange.
we got a DM from it. So what I think had happened is my co-producer, I'll say this part, Gavin Anderson, you love that kid to death. He helped build that show to what it is and where it's going, and I'm actually really happy to see or excited to see where it kind of goes from there. But he had sent out an email because we were kind of looking for somebody to kind of like voice the potatoes for the bit. He ended up doing it himself, and I think the email that he sent out to the mass email did kind of sound like a little off.
Okay.
Like we were directly just going to be like antagonizing that Irish potato famine. But this is also an event that happened over 200 years ago. So comedy.
That's, well, I wish them well.
Yeah. So, but that's an example of whenever we kind of had to find that line and cut it.
And was there anything with the election show or the with
No.
the nothing there?
Flawless, man. Flawless.
Except for Trump coming out. So
Yeah,
it
there was
wasn't
there
like
was
that.
there was a line that you said. I wish I remembered the line off the top of my head, but they didn't take it well or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I think it was like the nuclear word, the N word, the nuclear word.
Yes. Oh
That's what it
my
was.
God, it's my favorite.
Yeah,
bit of
but
all
like the thing
time.
is,
My
like
favorite.
I don't think that they knew that is a direct quote
It's a
that
direct
Trump
quote
said.
from Trump said
and I
that.
think they thought that you just kind of wrote that yourself.
No, please go look it up. Trump
and I
goes,
think that's where that miscommunication went. And I stood up for the bit because I'm like, no, this is hilarious.
Pierce Morgan goes.
No, I looked up the clip because I didn't know either.
What would you do in Ukraine if you were the president and Trump just goes, Putin uses the N word. The N word, the nuclear word.
I don't like the
I don't like the nuclear. I mean, it's the craziest bit. It's the craziest.
Dude, the
thing,
dude just has no idea about the real N word, and it's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy.
There's a clip of him at a rally, and he goes, "The N word. You know what
Oh
the
my
N
God.
word is? It's no. It's the nuclear word."
Great. No, it's great.
Dude, he knows what he's doing.
It's great.
That'll get clipped out of context, and we're gonna get thrown out of here.
Oh, we'll get thrown off the building. It's been a good run.
It has been a
Presidential
good
run.
run.
Vote for me in December.
You're gonna
Is that
run
when
for
the polls are?
You said December earlier in the show, and that's not at all when the voting happens. And I just kind of let it slide. But you may have shown your cards a little bit.
Marshall's gonna be mad at me on that one.
You're gonna get elected president. I'm gonna get replaced with AI.
So
That's
here's
kinda how this
here's kind of the
goes.
process that I think I'm going to go through. We've already talked about how I was running after presidents. Now I'm running for presidents, and I
Yeah.
think now I'm going to be running away from presidents.
Presidents, right? No, literally, because now you've insulted them, and now they will be chasing after you. Although I don't think you'll have to run very fast.
Oh, thank God.
You won't have to run very fast to get away from them.
Good, because I got my running shoes
That
on.
was- when you first said,
How many times am I going to go
when
ahead?
you first, I don't know, but
I don't know.
But I would love for it to stop.
No. To quote
whenever-
Queen, don't stop me now.
Whenever you started doing that bit and you were like, I was running after presidents, I was like, what in the? I didn't pick up on what you were.
You didn't get it at all.
No.
See,
not-
here's the thing.
not-
I
not at
knew
first.
that, and
Not-
that's whenever I was like, I gotta continue to explain that. Now my friend's calling me.
We're on air.
I should pick that up and be like, hey, you're live. No, I'm driving out to a fire tomorrow night for a bachelor's
Don't give
weekend.
people free airtime.
No, I give people free ground time because I stomp them to the curb.
We're getting lost in the weeds here.
We're literally on a roof. We're the furthest away from weeds that you can be. Good one.
This is a very
Singer, boom, got it. Anyways,
this is a very meta question to ask, and you are allowed to give me critiques here, and you are allowed to flame me on my own show in front of my viewers and everyone that I've ever cared about. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think a quality is that good interviewers have, and like, what do you think makes? Because you're a very good interviewer.
Thanks.
And
I appreciate
your
that.
questions are, and again, I'm not just saying these things to try to like. I'm not
Make
just
me
saying
feel
them-
good?
Right. I'm not just saying because we're on air. Like, truly, I mean, you are really good at this stuff.
I need to pick me up. Sorry.
Yeah, Kyle paid me money to just do this.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. We'll cut that too.
We'll cut that as well.
This is never going to be seen.
What is a quality do you think good
Man.
interviewers have?
I think listening is a number one quality. I think being personable is a really good quality, and honestly, really, it is listening, because you can dump as much research into some person that you're interviewing as you can, and you could bullet point and plan out your interview and try to weave it exactly the way that you want. But man, if they answered your first question the way that you weren't expecting it, your whole interview is derailed.
Crumbles.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And then you're in shambles trying to figure out what to do. And then you're in your own head and you're not listening and you're turning into a bad interviewer. So
I've made that mistake.
I have
on
too.
this
You
show.
have
I've
to.
made that
You
mistake.
have to make that mistake.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the point of like starting anything. You got to start it so you know what mistakes to make.
Yeah.
But going back to the interview question, listening. That's it. Because if you need to bullet out things that you want to hit, and you might not hit them all. But if they fall perfectly into place, then you're good. But you need to understand how to give your own perspective on something that they said while also transitioning that into a question.
Mm-hmm.
Once you figure that out, man, you're eating so much pie.
Well, I don't know what that means either. I want to circle
It's like
back.
you cook the dessert. I'm not going to explain analogies to you, Carson. You haven't graduated yet, so.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm
That'll be next
legally
year.
smarter than you, so.
You are legally smart.
You dumb turkey. Can you gobble for me?
I want to absolutely not. I have to shut this down now. This has to stop. This is.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't really wake up and think that I was going to ask Carson Brunn if he would gobble for me, so.
This has got to stop.
This is gobble to stop. No, it's not there. I forced it. Go ahead.
I want to circle back to personality. We were sort of talking about this when we were eating dinner a little bit. What do you think? What advice would you give? And we sort of like talked about this a little bit, but I want to maybe give it some more time. What advice would you have to people, and what steps do you think people should take to kind of figure out what their personality is? I guess you could kind of consider this along the same lines of like, how does someone build, and I hate saying this particular set of words together because it drives me crazy, but like building their brand.
Whoa.
That really drives me crazy how much we're like obsessed with that now, but.
Wow, Carson the influencer. Back at it. Oh, I struck a bone.
Should I just become an influencer?
I think you would do good.
As an influencer?
Yeah.
What kind of influencer should I be? We'll get back to this question, but real quick, what kind of influencer should I be?
Dancer.
Have you seen me dance?
No.
Oh, it's horrific. Yeah, this is already a mistake.
But you're going to inspire millions.
To also be bad
dancers? To be better.
Okay.
To be better and do better. And that's going to be the pivotal point for this nation. And that is the marketing that I stand for on it. Messed it up. That is the marketing that I stand for as your presidential campaign advisor, politics guy for December of October. When is it? Vote Kyle 2024?
I have to get back to this question.
Okay.
What did you...
I love trains. They always get derailed. It's a bad thing to say.
What do you think? What do you think people should do to develop? Because everyone's
right.
Cause not,
Okay.
not everyone's going to be you. Not everyone's going to be me. Everyone's going to be. So how does someone figure out what makes them them?
So, I am a firm believer, and I have always believed this, but it never got put into context until I really started following Conan O'Brien, one of my all-time idols. He puts it best. If you, and it's something that I live by myself now, and I love to tell other people too. If you, whatever your gut, whatever your heart says that you want to do, go follow it. And if you have one thing that just makes you happy, follow that thing that makes you happy. Even if it changes in the next 10 to 15 years and it pivots to something completely different, keep following that feeling, that chase, whatever it may be. My hunch, I've told it, I love being open about this. I want to be a late night host. That is a chase that I have been chasing for years at this point. And like I'm actively, continually doing things, and it makes me happy. It makes me bring out my personality to the true, authenticated self. If you want to go mine gold, if that's one thing that makes you happy, oh my God. Whenever you walk into a pickaxe shop, that's where your personality is going to shine. But like that analogy is true in anything. It doesn't, if you want to be a broker, if that's something that makes you happy, follow that. And then that's where your personality is going to come out. So that's my answer.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
It's, yeah.
This is maybe a little bit of a hard pivot, but
it's the name of my band.
When we're talking about being true, being true to yourself.
Yeah.
What do you think truth is? Now, and I guess you can look at that in whatever context you would like.
What's that ad campaign about, like quitting vaping? Speak out to the truth. That's what the truth is.
Truth to text quitting to TRUTH.
Text suck my vape away to the truth. What is the truth? Man, I feel like I'm throwing this word in a lot, but I mean authenticity is the truth. But there's so much more to truthfulness outside of yourself, and I think the truth really comes from yourself, because if you're not truthful to yourself, you're not going to be truthful to anybody else around you. You're not going to be truthful to anything around you. Like if I'm not truthful to myself, I'm going to call this a plant.
Right, and then if I decide to believe you, then that's a problem.
Right, because I'm not being truthful to you, but you're being truthful to me. Like, here's another thing. Genuinely, this is a real thing. Not a lot of people know this, but I am a really, really good accordion player. Like the ones that you got in elementary school and everything like that.
Yes.
Yeah, those things. I shred them.
Yeah.
And it's truthful. Here, it's like. So it's just being truthful and authentic to what the truth is, you know? Your next question.
How? You had it in your jacket
The entire time, probably the past 4 hours that has been in there. It's been stabbing my hip bone for 4 hours.
When you started reaching into your jacket, I thought you were gonna. I didn't think you were actually gonna. Now here's my next question.
Yeah.
Were you waiting? Were you gonna bust that out no matter what, or were you just?
So I didn't know where this conversation or this podcast was gonna flow. I knew it was gonna be more of a serious one. I can get serious, but I'm me. You know, I like to throw in the pizzazz. So yes, for the past 40 minutes of this podcast, I have been vicariously
Waiting.
trying to morph how I could turn one of your questions into me pulling that out and playing it for a fucking bit. And apparently, whenever you said the truth, I said, all right, we're doing it live.
It's accordion time. Oh my god. I was
I had you.
I
had you.
Here's the thing. Whenever I saw the hand, whenever you said, and give me a second, I was like, oh, for a second, I was like, oh, this is a joke. And then I thought, wait a minute, there's actually a recording in there, isn't it? I mean.
Did you think I was going to play good?
If anyone. No, not for a minute.
Oh, damn.
If anyone asks, Carson, why didn't you, because I've just quite literally, in the spirit of full transparency,
yeah.
I brought no questions to this interview.
But I respect
that. And this is
that.
why.
Yeah.
This is why.
No, it goes back to that. You got to be a good.
I mean, if
you would have planned this out.
I mean, it would, first of all, would not have been as funny. And that is unbelievable.
See? Dude, see?
There is truly.
See? Fucking angry. Go ahead.
Fire.
But no,
we're fans of Fire. We truly do love what they do, but that we may have discovered.
We put water in Fire. That's how crazy it is.
I'll talk to them.
Yeah, but no, I mean, just going back to it though. I think the truth really is just being truth to yourself and understanding how to not lie to yourself. Because I think we've all done that in the past. Whether you're a kid or whether you just don't want to believe in something, and that takes time. That's just a life lesson you got to learn.
Yeah, I've been having
Along
conversations.
With accordion playing. Is it recorder? That's what it's called.
Is it? We called it a recording. I don't think
it doesn't feel right.
Is it a recorder? I forget. I think that is.
Is it a recorder?
It's
a recorder.
Record.
Yeah,
it's a recorder. We'll fix it in post.
I don't know if I was caught stumbling.
Will be 6 minutes. This episode will be 6 minutes long because we're gonna cut 95% of it. Fix it.
I respect that.
No, so going back to that, I think you are right. I've been having conversations with friends recently about how I don't think that an obsession with objective truth is going to set anybody free. Like, I don't think that it's going to. I think that subjective truth. I think that you're
talking about opinionated thoughts. Is that kind of what you're leaning into? I'm not sure if I'm picking up what you're putting down yet.
I mean, because there's the kind of saying that we live in a post-truth world, or we can't really agree on what facts are.
Sure.
Right? We're kind of living in these separate realities.
Okay.
And if you were trying to sort of reestablish a shared reality, maybe it's not going to come from an obsession with objective truth, like trying to find what is objectively true. That
Yeah.
maybe it comes from, talking to people about their experiences and their life and trying to figure out what makes them like authentically them in a way.
Yeah.
And maybe there's more of a shared reality in the human experience than there is in like obsessing over facts.
And playing off of that, going back into the truth thing, I mean, I think that's just like a social media thing, with influencers. Like we constantly compare ourselves.
Yep.
So whether friends, people you don't know, people who are just living in the ages, people who aren't living in the ages, people on top of their game, people who are working and it doesn't matter where you are, you will always constantly compare yourself to that. And that's whenever you kind of fall into a line of, damn, maybe I'm not doing this whole thing right. And then that's, I think, where the dishonest truth about where you are and what you're doing. Like, everybody wants to be doing their dream gig, their dream role. But you got to work up to it. You got to take your time. You have to follow your own life trajectory. Everybody has it different, and I think that plays into that, too.
That's the Billy Joel lyric. You can't be everything you want to be. It's from Vienna.
No, that's We Didn't Start the Fire.
No, it's not. It's from Vienna. It is. Slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you want to be before your time.
You made that up.
I did not. It's a good song. Yeah, I think. So what do you think about that saying? There's that saying that you shouldn't. I think what you're kind of getting at is that saying of like, don't compare yourself to, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to other people now.
Honestly, yeah, that's a good way to put it. It feels weird. I've never heard of it like that before. I am a big advocate for not comparing yourself to anything, and just doing you.
Okay.
Because I think that's whenever you start comparing yourself, that's whenever you start stunning growth. And I do it all the time, and I hate it.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Is that the saying?
Whoa.
Did I make that up? There's some saying.
No, that's rad.
There's some saying that's kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
It'll
But to play devil's advocate against something that I just said, you have to compare yourself to grow, I think, too.
Sure.
You mean you do?
So that's maybe a contradictory.
I
think that's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm starting to find more comfort in contradictions, I think.
Yeah. I think. I mean, that comes with like a whole balance too. You have to understand both worlds of things. Yeah. Takes two to tango.
It does.
Pretty sure that's a Pitbull quote. Fun fact about Pitbull before you dive in. Did you know that, I can't remember what, I think it's Feel This Moment. Nah, I'm going to forget the song, but whatever. It's whenever he's like, recording live from the tallest building in Tokyo. Legit, whenever he was recording that, he was recording it from the tallest building in Tokyo.
Really? Well,
Swear, it was, yes.
He's living the life.
Yeah, I love Pitbull.
He's an interesting...
I do get into waves of just listening to Pitbull, and I'll have my windows down, like just driving through the city. Dude, the looks that I get, they're just like, fucking Pitbull? And I'm like, Mr. 305! Dude's got some bangers.
Your recorder, do you play them on the... Can you play us a Pitbull song on the recorder real quick?
That was Feel This Moment. I don't know if you could get that from the intro.
Stunning.
You got it. Sorry. Your question.
Have you ever struggled with dealing with uncertainty?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. All the time.
Mm-hmm. What's that been like?
I'll give you my most recent one, and I'm still... Dude, being here is uncertainty. Doing my next thing is uncertainty. I deal with uncertainty every day. I got 2 productions in the works that I'm developing right now, and I'm getting paid to write jokes right now, which is huge. Not a lot, but it's something, and they're funding it. They're helping produce it. They're doing all of it. And the uncertainty of if it's going to work. I've got 2 things in the pot right now, unreleased. But I like hosting gigs. Whenever I go out onto the field and just start talking, there's uncertainty in there. Dude, it's everywhere. I live with it everywhere. But I embrace it because you have to. If you don't, you're going to drive yourself mad and just go insane.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that you've gotten better at dealing with it?
Yeah.
The more you
Definitely. I mean,
now does it get maybe this is the same thing, but like does it get easier or do you get stronger? Or
stronger,
kind of both?
wiser. I would say
Okay.
wiser.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody knows the highs are high and the lows are lows. And that comes with uncertainty too. Sometimes there's an unprecedented joy that comes with not knowing what's going to happen next. But other times, there is dread and depression about not knowing what's going to happen next. So it plays on both of those spectrums. But there's that sense of knowledge that you gain from continuously going through that uncertainty and knowing that, you know what, do or die, it's going to be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, it's kind of, have you ever been turned down from something that you really, really want and thought that you were perfect for?
Maybe not that I thought that I was perfect for, but that I would have been really good at.
Yeah. And it sucked whenever you got told that, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Awful. It's terrible.
It's not fun.
And it's those moments that make you stronger and wiser, though it freaking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
We have to battle through that adversity to go on to the next thing. And that next thing might be even bigger than what you were trying to go for before, or it's building up to something bigger. So it's a lot of just trusting the process.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that answered the question, but I went on a tangent and it felt good.
No, I think you answered it.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you're afraid that people will get wrong about you?
The types of flavors of cheese that I like. I'm a pepper jack guy, and I really just get discomforted whenever people just think that I'm a cheddar guy. You know, I'll stand by some provolone, but man, does it piss me off whenever they think I'm a Colby Jack guy. That's where I lose it. So a little bit, yeah.
Do you have another answer to that question, perhaps?
Types of cuts of ham, maybe? I'm sorry. What's the question again? So here's what happened in my brain to let you go.
I need to.
You
explain your thought process.
Yeah, your first sentence to that question was something along the lines of, do you ever think that people, and as soon as you said that, my brain sparked. And I was like, I don't give a shit how he finishes this. Just say cheese. And the second you ended it, I was like, okay, got it, go. What was your question again? I'm so sorry. I will answer it on a real.
I love this. What's one thing that you're afraid that people will get wrong about you?
Oh, man, like that's the thing. Honestly, I don't care. I can't think of anything, and that goes back to me just not really like giving a shit what people think about me. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do my thing. You can choose to believe whatever you want to believe. I know what I believe, and I'm sticking to that. So maybe it actually is the cheese question.
maybe it literally is.
Maybe it genuinely. Wow.
Maybe it genuinely is what kind of cheese you are into.
Good for me.
So this is. God damn it. So now when you're interviewing somebody and you do this,
Yeah.
is there any way to even quantify the amount of joy that you get by seeing somebody absolutely befuddled by what you're asking them?
It's what I live for.
It's
what I live for, man.
Yeah.
I love it whenever people do the bit with me. That fuels me even more. But whenever they're kind of just lost, but I know that they're having a good time during it.
Yeah.
That's the cake right there.
That first interview that we did together on UView, that's on my Instagram, you can go watch.
Right. And we didn't really even know each other that well.
No.
I just
not
kind
really
of-
at all. I'd met you like twice
Yeah.
before that. And,
Well-
and I didn't even know that you were supposed to interview me. It was supposed to be Brett Power.
You're right. Yeah, it was supposed to be Brett. So I was kind of thrown into that. And the first interview, well, I had been doing those for like 3 weeks. I'm me.
Yeah.
And I hate the true structurized format of like, for lack of better words, like normalized interviews. Can't stand them.
Yeah.
But that's me. I put my own spin on things. And after like the second or third, I'm like, these questions are boring. I'm just going to do me. And that's whenever I started bringing harmonicas to interviews. Man, it was fun. I had a great time. And the people in the studio were cracking up. But like the students were getting their practice. I was getting my practice. And everything was okay. So why not? But to go back to it, we did the first interview with Brett's questions.
Yeah.
And those were very standardized questions. And then they're like, all right, we're going to run it back. And you didn't know that I was just going to throw those questions out the door.
I had no.
And I started off with the normal question and then flipped it.
Yeah, you did.
But
You asked me if I can. You asked me because the word "run" is in my last name. If I was a good runner.
yeah, that's where it all
That's
kicked
where it
off.
started.
That's actually where I learned that I wanted to do my presidential run.
And oh wow, that's interesting. I didn't know I inspired all that.
Circles.
And what absolutely blew me away
Uh-huh.
was that nobody in that studio like made a peep.
Dude, yeah, that's
How-
what killed me.
how?
I think they
Like,
just got sick of my shit.
They probably did. They probably did.
But that's what
Because
gets me going too. Like there's something about that fuels me, and I don't know why.
We watched the
It's
clip.
great.
We watched the clip back,
dying.
and we
It's
were
hilarious.
we were crying, and
Hilarious.
everyone was just like, no one cared. It was
Yeah.
I mean, and that was and that was still to this day the greatest interview I've ever done, or the greatest.
That's the thing, though.
greatest
I mean,
job I've ever done. It was the greatest
you know-
experience.
And that's the thing that I truly want to do with my style of interviews.
That was a huge waste of my time.
Thank you. Yes. But you had a great time, right?
amazing.
And
It
you
was
won't
very
you won't forget it, right?
No.
That's what I want to do. I want to.
And it has like 400 views on my Instagram.
Yeah, like they're fun. I
Let's
love
see what it has
doing
now.
them. So
Real quick.
Yeah.
Just keep talking. I'm just gonna.
yeah. As you're looking up,
532 views.
let's freaking go. What I love to do in the way that I structure my interviews is I like to find genuine questions to kind of like get them talking a little bit, starter questions. Not like, how's your day going type of things, kind of dive into the sauce. And then I put my secret sauce into the mix. And then right then and there, we're cooking a whole plate of spaghetti. Then we add some meatballs in there. And then just before you know it, I'm dumping Cheerios into this spaghetti. But they're Honey Nut Cheerios, so they got some zing.
Do Honey Nut Cheerios have zing?
It's the honey.
Okay.
People go nuts for it.
And
Cheerio. I had to finish it, and that's the only way I could think.
and when you say that you add your own sauce to it, what do you think sauce is? What is sauce?
I try to think of something smart to say. That was the dumb thing to say.
Do you quip in your head? Do you go like, that sounded better in my head whenever you if you make a joke and it doesn't land? Do you quip in your head a little bit?
50% of the time, it's half and half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is sauce?
To me,
Yeah.
my sauce.
Yeah.
That's my feng shui of questions. So, I didn't get to do this interview, and I'm really mad about it. It's not his fault. I was supposed to interview the first Royal Rumble winner of WWE.
Whoa.
Right. He went over to a Riverhounds game. It would have been a 15-minute interview. His plane was delayed, and then it got canceled, and then he had to switch an airline. So he was there just out of reach for me to do this interview. His name was Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and he used to carry around a 2x4 with him as like his prop.
That's fire.
Right. And that was like his thing, was just carrying this 2x4. So one of my questions that I was going to eventually get to him was, do workers at Home Depot ever get nervous whenever you walk into the Home Depot? Yeah. So it's questions like that are just, that's the sauce for me. That gets them a giggle, and it gets a cool, different perspective. I
Makes
listen.
them think a little bit.
Yeah, I
Have ever
listen.
walked into Home Depot?
Anytime I do my research, I listen to anything that's already out there, and I take away questions that were already asked so I can summarize it and try to come up with a quicker way to get there.
Yeah.
That's how I start. Then I come up with the questions that nobody has asked that have that sauce to it. That's kind of a loose way how I structure it. It's different every time, but you know how it goes.
Yeah, and so do you think that there's a... so then where is the... So you kind of draw the line between structure and sauce. Just kind of... You draw that line kind of just based on who you're talking.
I would like to say noodle and fettuccine, but yeah.
Right.
Obviously.
My brain's... I'm not there quite yet.
You'll get there.
Probably.
Yeah.
So then what do you think the judgment, like, what do you think the judgment call is with that? How do you, like, have you, I'm guessing you've potentially done an interview where you were like, oh, that was too much sauce, or that was too much structure. Is it possible to have too much sauce?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But it depends what angle you're trying to go at.
Right.
You know,
right now you can't really... I'm the one stopping the sauce.
Right now, we are on a roundabout with no exit. So there's no direction to go.
Right. Right. It's...
but we're building one.
Yeah.
Together.
No, this is like Inertia by AJR. It's We Are an Object in Motion.
You like AJR? Ew. You like what I did there?
I get shit on for liking AJR. It's just what happens.
All right, I like him too.
But if we're on a roundabout with no exit, where it's kind of like we're moving, but we're not really going in any particular...
I feel like we have strayed so far from what the hell real question we were trying to ask.
I don't even remember what was... It was how do you determine if an interview has too much structure or too much sauce? Sauce being
I think you have to know who you're interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to I listen to too much late night, and not every single interview is the same. Mm-hmm. But if they have a comedic guest on, they're more free to do something wild and bodacious. But then they'll have like an animal conservativist on. That's not the right word. Probably a new word.
Animal rights activist.
A nature conservationist. Somebody like that. That's like in a real field doing something real for the planet.
Yeah.
And that's a very real interview with like a little bit of goof.
Yeah.
Not the same as like a Tom Segura coming on your show or something like that. Or a Norm Macdonald coming on your show. Exactly. So you have to know your guest in order to put the right amount of sauce into your pasta. And so I got a question for you. Do you like or do you hate that I made that work?
I am.
Or are you just not sure?
I kind of hated it.
Okay, cool.
No, I mean, not really. I didn't actually kind of hate it, but...
Because these are the things that I need to know. I don't care, but I want to know.
Hard pivot. Should I just start saying hard pivot? Should I just be
let
the viewers know that we're just about to go all the way over there? Hard pivot. You think do you think you
I need a hard pivot and then a
you want to go
voice.
back to teaching? Because you were a teacher's assistant. You were a grad student at Point Park.
Yeah.
What is, and we sort of briefly talked about this at dinner, but what kind of stuff would you like to teach?
So yeah, I'll just mention the things that we talked about it.
And we talked about some stuff I think
of
on
course,
this show already today.
I would love to do a structurizing an interview.
Yep.
Because I think that the way the interviews are being taught, not specifically with Point Park, I think just kind of in the education system are a little rough. There's a helicopter, I think, landing on the site right behind us. You can't see it because it's right behind the camera. We've actually turned down the volume for the chopper, so that's why you can't hear it that well.
Yeah, if you guys heard that, it was a plane. Sorry.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I want to teach a structurizing an interview, bringing out your personality on a camera, and I would love to teach how to produce different types of shows. Like I want to teach how to produce different mediums of entertainment. Because that's one thing that I found in my time, for lack of conversation specifically at Point Park, is that they're very focused on hard news. They're very focused on tracking journalism. And there's like a sports show there too. They're not really focused on that though. It's only hard news as far as in the classroom goes.
Yes.
I think
SAEM maybe covers a little bit of more sports.
Yeah, but yeah. But that's working behind the scenes. That's like front office work. That's not
right. The journalism,
right?
Journalism, there isn't.
But there is a different approach to all of this stuff. And that's why I built that show, Late Night Snooze at Point Park. That's why me and Gavin Anderson put it together. It's because we took a special topics class, and everybody in the class we revived my old late night show, the Almost Too Late show. Did a 4-episode run, and everybody loved it. And you could see their personalities like on camera, behind the camera, them just goofing off productively and creating some type of entertainment. So there's that aspect that I would love to teach. I love teaching though. I love it. That was one of my favorite parts. It was fun.
Would you teach about? And at the risk of opening up a can of worms, would you teach a freestyle?
Never eat soggy worms.
Would you teach a freestyle rapping class?
Oh God, you opened up this.
Well,
drop the beat.
Regretfully so. I regretfully.
We on the rooftop. That's right. I like the lollipop. I go, then I drop snot. So I think I like to think that I'm really good at rapping.
You're the
on the spot.
You're the best.
I don't think I could ever teach a freestyle rapping. You know, I'm writing a rap song now. This is true. I'm writing a rap song for a bit for one of the shows I'm producing, and it's a roll call for the Milky Way solar system, and all the planets have a verse or like a stanza that they hop in on, right. And it just goes all the way down. And
does Pluto get
I have this line. Pluto's gonna get a verse. Yeah, Pluto's gonna get a verse.
Is...
I have this line, and I'll say it now because by the time this comes out, it'll be already out. But I'm still teetering with how I want to work this because it's not my full production. I'm doing it for partnering with somebody else too. But I want to jump back to the sun and be like, yeah, I'm the hottest bitch alive. Because it's funny.
It's the dumbest. I love that.
And I don't know how I can finesse my way into making that kind of a PG-13 type of thing. Yeah. Which is unfortunately where I'm on the balance right now. But then there's the part of me that's like, nah, fuck it.
You're
man,
on the
just
balance
do it.
beam a little
bit there. Yeah.
You have to stick the dismount.
Yeah. But if I were to teach a frapping course, which is fake rapping, brought to you by the terms of the Lonely Island.
Fake?
More idols if you couldn't freaking tell.
Yeah.
If I were to teach a frapping course, I do have some rapping credits in there. Yeah. Do you know any of my raps that I've created in the past? Have I told you any of these? I'll give you concepts.
I've seen. Well, so I saw your video. You did your parody of that song that's like in New York.
Oh yeah, that was for class though.
So good though. It was so.
Ever tell you about Good Morning Wood?
No.
It's whenever a guy goes out to a club and meets a woman, takes her back, to the place and whatnot. Wakes up the night and has a very rambunctious night. But whenever he wakes up next to a piece of wood, like a wooden, like a 2x4 plank. And that's it. And how I heighten it throughout the song is
that's all it is.
That's all it is. Yeah, that's all it is. So he has this disease where he just keeps mistaking wooden planks for real people. And that's the song. So if I were to teach a creative writing course, I think that's the direction I would go.
Jesus. Gavin, how are we doing on lighting here, sir? You good? All right. I just wanted to make sure because it is getting darker.
I don't care. How long you want to go? I could keep talking forever. I don't know how long you usually go.
Hour and a half.
Let's run the hour and a half. Let's take this shindig to the full puppy.
I also don't know what that means either.
If anybody can break that down, I give him $100.
Can we get a translator? Can we get like a Rosetta Stone for Kyle Archer that is like an encyclopedia of like how to decipher some of what you say?
I actually have one. Do you want? Yeah.
Oh, is there actually something?
No, there's not. I don't have anything
Oh
else on
my
me. I don't have any.
God.
I don't have
If
any.
you pulled out
I have
another
my
prop-
keys. I have my keys.
If you pulled out another prop, I would have lost my mind. I would like to close the show with one last song. But
Oh, I
that'll be in a
have
little bit.
millions. I've been practicing this baby.
That'll be in a bit.
for a while.
What is your favorite project you've ever worked on?
That's a great question. Man. I have a couple popping in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I honestly, I mean, it's such a generic answer. I've just genuinely loved all of the projects that I've worked on.
Mm-hmm.
But one that I will say is my capstone Fitness 19 rap music video.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Just because I worked on it for 4 months.
Yeah.
For a 2.5-minute video.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, I'm so proud of it. It was so fun doing. I did forget that I was going to be shooting this at a gym. Like, I knew I was going to be shooting at a gym, but I did forget that I was going to be showing workouts in this music video.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot that I was going to be the actor doing the workouts in this music video.
Yeah.
And I forgot that it was going to be a 6-hour shoot. So I was working out for this shoot for 6 hours.
Lifting weights.
Oh my God, did I hurt the next day.
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved that shoot, though. I loved working on Late Night Snooze. Not anything particular. I just loved watching the growth of it, seeing where it goes, and seeing students kind of latch their ideas onto it. That always made me happy.
Yeah.
One project that I'm aimlessly proud of is, man, either the Butt Scratcher 5000 or the Flashlight Killer. Those were part of the Almost Too Late show back in the heyday. If you would like to know what either of those are, I would happily tell you them.
I don't even.
Flashlight Killer was about serial.
And we're back.
We have resynced in the sink. We have pulled both faucets out, and now we are starting to
I
sink.
gotta stop you again.
Okay. You know, I was doing something there, and it was gonna go somewhere fucking beautiful. You know what you did? You shot it with an arrow.
Right in the heart. I killed it.
Right in the. The blood was pumping, and you blood stumped it. What's your next question?
Maybe what if we just sit in silence? We just sit in silence for
We
the
could
next
do that.
29
Yeah.
minutes. 19 minutes. And we sort of briefly touched on a little bit of this. But what's next for you, Kyle?
Dude,
Now that you've escaped Point Park
That's
and
a
you're
great
free
question, man. So,
Are you staying in the area? Are you moving somewhere else? What's the deal?
staying in here for at least another year. I re-signed a lease for a year. Some of the things, I have a lot of things that are funneling into the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the projects that I'm working on right now, one of them is called Slosh Science, where basically I do a interview with somebody that works in science.
Mm-hmm.
We did one. I interviewed somebody who worked on a project that sent a rover to the moon.
Fire.
It was awesome. She's so brilliant. But we just drank 2 cocktails and got a little slippy and sloshy while we did the interview, which is really cool. So that's something that we're working on.
Do you need more people for that?
Loosely, yeah.
Could I recommend science friends that I have?
Yeah, please, absolutely, yeah. No, please. I'm looking for more people. I'm trying to get more and more. But I guess I got to get this first one edited. I've been just bad about that. But anyways, another one is called Nebula News. That is a satirical space news show. It's 5 to 7 minutes long, depending on the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I give people space headlines and just bits and waste your time. One of the bits that I do is I played along the lines as our production team out here at Nebula News is very eager and they're very proactive in the world. So what we actually did is we sent one of our camera crew members out into space to capture live real video of what's happening in space right now, and then it just cuts to black. So just little bits like that. We're going to the Riverhounds. I'm trying to restart Enough for Conversation. Trying to restart that.
That'll be fun.
Yep.
I love that. That was so fun when we did that.
It's great. I've pitched it to some people, and they love the idea, and they're down to do it. And that like fuels me. That lets me know that that's something that can grow.
Should I wear the clown costume again?
Yep. I still have to edit. I still have to edit your episode. one day you're gonna get a notification, and then it's gonna be like, oh my god, that's what. Dude, do you remember that question that I gave you? I was like, what do you think about disappointment?
Yeah.
What does disappointment mean to you?
Yeah.
And you went down a beautiful, inspirational, dark path about how you found disappointment in yourself on some things or something like that, and you finished. And I was like, no, I mean like dissing appointments. It's like you schedule an appointment, and you're like, nah, screw that appointment. I don't want to do that. Like that. Dude.
I'd be taking shit too serious sometimes. It's a problem.
Oh, no, it was great.
So funny.
So I got that in the works. A couple other things. I mean, I'm hosting a lot more live events.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the works of one right now, and I'm not going to disclose yet because it's such in the early baby steps. But if I can get in, man, that's going to be killer.
Yeah,
I told you about it, but I won't tell anybody else about it. Yeah, and if that unlocks, we're going to find that key.
Well, the key is down there now. It will never be seen again.
Shit.
I don't want to spend too much time on this because this is not necessarily your thing as much. But I am curious about something because I do think sometimes that people that are outside of your business can sometimes give you the best insights on how to fix some of the problems. Because sometimes you're too close to the thing you're doing to see the big picture. And you're not a political guy. That's not the avenue that I'm necessarily going down here. But if you
calling
could,
a presidential runner, not a political guy.
You literally are running for president.
Ask me about my policies.
And I don't mean to be a broken record. I don't mean to talk about polarization on every single episode of this show.
Oh, I love Amy Poehler.
But it is kind of my thing.
Oh. We're talking about two different things.
We are.
All right. Yep.
We are.
All right.
What do you think? What do you think people should do? What do you think people should do to kind of depolarize themselves politically?
Define that, dude. Like, I am so out of politics.
You are.
Here's my take on politics. I'll say it because this is not just politics podcast for you, Carson. My take on politics is I think it rips the shreds of everyone and everything that they love out and divides everyone into two quantities and makes everybody just hate each other.
Yeah.
But that only happens whenever politics get mentioned in a conversation. That's whenever that starts to hit. But if you don't mention politics in a conversation, then nobody knows where you align politically.
No.
And everything's, for the most part, okay. But I understand politics enough for myself. I have my opinions on it, and I just tend to keep those to myself.
Of course,
but
I wasn't meaning to ask
No,
you.
I totally understand that. But you're going to have to define some bigger boy terms for this little boy brain.
Sure, I guess like when it comes to all the toxic behavior that people get into when they're dealing with each other and all of like the sorting into groups and the othering, I guess.
It's like compartmentalizing like different political groups. Is that kind of what this is?
No, I think it's like especially when you go on social media and you see people that are dismissive of people that they disagree with, you dismiss them as being evil or they're ignorant or they're stupid and why would I listen to them and what's the point?
Yeah. Okay.
And everyone's just kind of caught up in that very tribal mindset.
Sure.
And I think we both kind of agree on this.
I see
We
what
talked
you're
about this
saying.
during dinner. Like it ends up kind of dehumanizing everybody involved.
Yes.
And that's something that I'm trying to help
Yes.
fix. what do you, if you had any advice, do you have any thoughts as someone that's sort of outside of that world entirely that kind of despises it a little bit, understandably?
Yeah, I do.
What advice, or do you have any thoughts or like advice about any of that?
Yeah, and I'll kind of throw this back in your perspective. You run a chapter called Bridge.
I do,
know?
Bridge USA, yeah.
What do bridges do?
They connect things.
They connect things, correct. Yes. You are an absolute dictionary of a man. They connect things. But yeah, they connect things from one side to the other. In order to make a bridge, you need to see both sides of that land and work towards one goal. And that's it. I think to help really with that problem, from my unknowingness, #new word alert, self of politics and political behavior, just being a freaking human and listening and understanding. It doesn't matter where your politics align. You should be able to have a sit-down conversation with somebody that has complete opposing views and be like, man, do I not agree with that. But that, from your point of view, I can kind of see it. Granted, there are some things where I don't agree with that at all. And I won't disclose what those are. I don't like doing that.
If you get into the extreme examples, you may
exactly.
But those people, in my experience, are like basically to run into one.
But it just gets to the point where, like, if you define yourself as a liberal, you would never get caught breathing in the same room as a conservative, vice versa. And that's how do you fix that? And that's just listening and understanding, which is like a wishy-washy thing that some people just hate.
Yeah,
and I don't get it. So. No, I don't have an answer.
and I wasn't meaning to like put.
No,
you on the spot
I
or
totally.
anything. I'm just curious.
If I had that answer, man, I would be living up in the K&L Gates penthouse right now. Maybe not here. I'd be in Trump Tower. Overridden.
Yeah, I was just curious because I spend so much time around people that are in this sort of political depolarization space, and we're always bouncing ideas back and forth.
Yeah. So what do you see? What do you hear? I'm curious. They probably hear this all the time, but I fucking don't.
Sound like a broken record on this show. No, I guess in just terms of like, I think we're kind of on the same page with that. I think that we have to get ourselves to a point where we've tied our policy positions so closely to our morality and so closely with our actual identity that an attack on a policy position all of a sudden then becomes a question of a person's morality or a question of their character. And then if you're being attacked, you immediately have to be put on the defensive. You immediately have to do that to defend yourself. So,
but that also just kind of comes back to like just a defense mechanism too. You know, it's automatic.
But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't.
You know what I think we should kind of start leaning towards and doing?
What?
Is a political like A versus B type of situation.
Yeah.
Your donkey versus elephant, which if this was it would never work. Donkeys would get overpowered by elephants. But if we went back to like an old school tug of war thing, and that's how we settled our ideals.
Ooh, an old school tug of war.
Because if you really want it, you're gonna pull that freaking rope a lot harder.
Sure.
Yeah, but like I said, like if you get 6 elephants versus 6 donkeys, okay, not gonna work, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have those kind of conversations. I mean, we're talking about how, you know, and the one thing we've kind of recently been talking about a little bit, some of my friends have, is that we seem to be stuck up in this weird situation where we're treating the truth as a destination point.
Sure.
And not a journey.
Sure.
It's supposed to be a collaborative journey.
I agree, and I absolutely agree.
Building knowledge is a collaborative journey. Finding the truth is a collaborative journey. And I think... And
there's something beautiful in there, too.
There is.
You just have to find it.
And something I've recently kind of discovered, too, is that a shared reality is also not a destination point either.
Yeah.
It's always something that's going to be changing. So it's something that you have to work at every day. And I think that people have, for various reasons, they've kind of grown tired of that, and they've exchanged that hard work that is so necessary to make a society like this function healthily. They've exchanged that for the internet. They've exchanged
Yeah.
for quick, instant gratification,
Mhm.
easy, ideological jabs, things that make them feel
That's
more
where the
better.
influencer things and the comparisons kind of come back into
Exactly,
play too.
a little bit, yeah, and people get caught up in like,
Yep.
what can I write on this wall, or
Yeah.
what can I post on my story, which is kind of like writing on a wall in a way. It goes away, but it's kind of like writing on your wall.
My name on the bathroom wall. Anybody understands that reference? Oh my god.
Because I certainly don't.
Oh my god. So I actually have 2 questions for you. Do you have any? Well,
We have time.
okay, cool. I got 2 questions
Unless
for
it's
you.
getting too dark for us. Okay.
Are you ready? You're gonna like this one. Hard
Sure.
pivot. We're gonna go back to the not just politics part of this podcast. I
Yeah.
almost forgot the name, but we're gonna pretend like I didn't say that.
Of course.
Because I watch this every week. So, what do you think you have learned as an interviewer doing these? What's like one of the biggest takeaways from you? That's pretty. The stadium lights just came on. That was cool. I've never seen that from this far away. Anyway, sorry, go.
I think that one of my biggest takeaways is that I think one of the things that I've always established as a goal is that it doesn't necessarily matter if I agree or disagree with a person. I don't know exactly how to phrase this, so if this is a bit of a meandering thing, I apologize. But I guess one of my guiding principles has been like, if the person that's sitting across from me says, "Hey, that was good. I want to do this again," I did my job. Because to me, I think the one thing I've learned is that it's almost not. It's almost a detriment to immediately address disagreements.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what my philosophy is, dude. Improv or yes and, like, there's no such thing as disagreeing.
Exactly.
Unless it's for a hard comedic purpose.
Sure.
But
and I think that
it follows the same principle, genuinely. It does.
yeah, I think that the most important thing is keeping that door of communication open
Love doors, too.
rather than I think we're too quick to immediately, and I've recently kind of given up on the concept of changing people's minds through throwing out facts, like by throwing out, I can't do it, you can't do it. The only way you're going to change someone's mind is, I think there's a good quote, like, it's like facts don't change minds.
It's showing
friendships
perspectives.
do.
That's how you change people's minds. Is showing that through different perspectives.
Yeah.
Which is cool, and I don't really get to talk to a lot of people that also do interviews and kind of put in that work. So I love little conversations like that.
I've learned that people are never going to make sense, and they don't have to. They're never. There's always going to be some part of a person that doesn't make sense or that shouldn't.
What was that phrase that I said about the puppy?
You don't even remember.
See, dude, I don't know, man. But before I'm going to cut you off there.
Yeah.
Good answer. My second question is, because I am the guest and this is about me.
It is about you, yeah.
What is one burning question that you've always wanted to ask me?
I think I got to some of them here today. I mean, I think that the one about
Snap, crackle, and pop. Rice Krispies, let's go.
a burning question. I think I got to some of them here today. I was
All right.
curious about the one thing that you're afraid people will get wrong about you, but according to, and this does make sense.
I wish I genuinely had a good answer for that.
Yeah, but it does kind of make sense that you don't.
Yeah,
It
but
does kinda- that
I
does kinda
really
make sense.
just don't really ever care
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
what people think of me.
Uh-huh.
I feel like there was a time where I might have used to, but maybe it was for a small moment.
Yeah. I'm starting to get
Yeah.
I'm starting to get more to your position on that. Like, I'm starting to care less.
Isn't it nice?
It is nice. I think the only reason why I'm still holding on to some of that is because I have in some way or another attached myself to a couple of different nonprofits that I volunteer for.
Yeah,
that
but
I
that's
kind
different.
Of
That's keeping
represent
your
on
brand, though.
campus.
I mean, dude, that's me down there. It's like the Sun joke about the rap. Like, I want to put in, I'm the hottest bitch in this universe.
Yeah.
But, like, I can't say that
Right.
for a space bar
Yeah.
whenever they're promoting real clientele.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious, but, like, it's same thing. So, same thing, yeah.
And I don't know what people on campus honestly think about me politically, and that part I really don't care about. The only part that I do maybe care about is that because the Bridge USA chapter, or even because this is so heavily tied to me and Gavin, that I at this point I don't really know how else to explain what we do and why we do it to the people that still don't get it. And that's not me trying to say that, like, they're dumb or ignorant for not getting it. Like, that's just how they are. It's just how it's gonna be. but I think that was a part of it was that I was just a little bit. I've gotten a little bit frustrated with like, I don't have any other way to explain why I do what I do at this point to the people that don't really get it and the people that, and again, it's like not everyone has to get it. So that's kind of why I'm starting to let go of that a little bit, I think, is it's like I can't change anyone's mind. All I can do is really just do what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I love what I'm doing. I love the life that I've created so far. I love the journey that I'm going on. It's been ups, there's been downs, there's been how the hell am I going to pay rent? There's been all right, we're cool. We're living. It's tough. It's not easy.
No.
But I would not trade what I'm trying to do for 9 to 5 ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
What if it turns into it? What if it naturally
if I'm happy,
turns into this?
If I'm happy, then I'm happy. I know if it naturally turns into it, I've made the right decision, and that's just a gut thing that I'll have to make in that. And if I make it, like I said, I know I would have made it for the right reason. But right now,
yeah,
that's where I'm at. Yep.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. And I guess it's been a while since I asked you these questions last time, so I guess we'll fire off a couple of them again.
Speed round.
And you've done. I guess some of this we have kind of talked about. But if just in case there's anything you didn't get to address about this, what is your favorite part of your job?
Ooh, that's a good one. Man. The creative freedom, that's a huge part. I just hit this. I had a moment today where I've come to realize that this is now one of my favorite parts of the job. I will wake up in the middle of the night with a stupid idea, a stupid bit. I'll be in the shower with a stupid bit. Mm-hmm. And I can write that down, and I can make that happen and produce it and put it out into the world within a week.
Uh-huh.
I have the freedom, and I'll get paid to do that now. Mm-hmm. It's not money makers, but like I've hit that point to where it's starting to get there. So that's one. I love screaming, make some noise into a microphone, man.
Yeah,
dude.
That's cool.
Oh my God. There's a sellout over at Riverhound, 6,000 people. I'm just launching t-shirts into the crowd with this freaking cannon right here. And dude, I got that mic. I'm like, if you want a t-shirt, make some noise, dude. Electric.
Yeah, and the crowd goes crazy.
Electric.
Yeah.
I had a hot dog chant at one game. I wore my hot dog suit.
Oh yes.
At a game. Yeah, and
you got to wear that next time.
I will. Yeah. Oh, so there's a part 3.
Yeah, you're coming back on. Yeah, you'll be. If you're here for another year, you'll be back. And I want you to wear the hot dog suit.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I wonder what I could stuff into my hot dog suit. I'll figure it out. Go ahead.
I did not know where that sentence was going to go when you said the first half. We'll move on from that very quickly.
Keep it kosher. Keep it kosher.
What advice do you have for young people that are wanting to be a funny guy, that want to create a personality on camera that they can feel comfortable with, or that are just wanting to create stuff?
Watch that 2008 video of Shia LaBeouf just freaking going for it. It's inspirational.
Do you wake up to that video every day or something?
I watch that video 7 times a day. Can you imagine if that was true? That'd be nuts.
YouTube watch history.
Yeah,
it's
like 347 watch time hours of Shia LaBeouf screaming. Just do it. Advice: watch the pros do their thing. Mm-hmm. That is the number one thing. Be curious. Try things. Throw yourself out there. It's the only way you're gonna do it. If you think that you are being really freaking weird, you're doing it right. You're doing it right.
Yeah.
Number one, though, if you do want to kind of take an avenue like this, make sure you're having fun with it. That's the number one thing. Because if you're not, you're making something that isn't going to come off as true. So, goes back to being true to yourself. Oh my God, Kyle, you just had a revelation. I love trains. No, I said a revelation. Oh, I thought we were talking about trains. This conversation has been derailed. Did you like that? The voice is back. We're back to ASMR. Brought to you by No Scruffings.
I don't know.
On a microphone point.
This is like a final boss. This is like fighting a boss in a video game.
Welcome
like,
to level 18, motherfucker.
I've leveled up and I brought all my gear, and then it's still not enough. It's like I'm still befuddled by your attack. The attack.
You got to do the
pattern.
side quests. You got to do the side quests.
Haven't done enough.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle Archer. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
Thank
You're
you.
a man.
I do what I do.
Good luck with everything.
Thanks, man.
We'll see you around. You'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll do this again.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe next time I won't even wear anything. Maybe that's the next bit. I'll have to do it on my birthday. March 8th, I'll be in the birth suit, you know? Flying free. 'Cause I'm free. Free falling.
Bye, everybody.